listeners! Welcome to our channel, Learn English with Podcast. Craving ice cream but feel guilty every time you indulge? Well, forget the guilt. In today's video, we're uncovering the secrets to enjoying ice cream guilt-free. We'll dive into its sweet history, why we feel bad about eating it, and how you can indulge without a second thought. Plus, get ready for some mind-blowing ice cream facts and future trends that'll leave you wanting more. Don't miss out! Let's scoop into the world of ice cream like never before. But before we dive into today's topic, let's quickly introduce today's guests, James and Taylor. They are here to let us know the ways to eat ice cream guilt-free. Let's get started.
All right, Taylor, here's a question for you. Can you eat ice cream without feeling guilty?
James, are you trying to trick me? Ice cream is literally my guilty pleasure. But let's be honest, why does it have to come with guilt anyway?
Exactly. That's what we're here to talk about today. Ice cream, everyone's favorite treat. It's creamy, cold, sweet, and nostalgic. But why does this delicious dessert get such a bad rap?
Good point. Ice cream has been around for centuries, giving people joy and comfort. Yet somehow it's become this forbidden food we feel bad about eating. Time to bust some myths.
Absolutely, in this episode, we're going to uncover everything about ice cream. From its fascinating history to why we feel guilty eating it, and most importantly, how to enjoy it guilt-free.
We'll also explore some surprising health facts, alternatives for health nuts, and a few fun ice cream facts you probably didn't know.
Oh, and we'll take you on a global tour of ice cream, from Turkish dondurma to Japanese mochi. Plus, we'll even talk about what the future holds for this frozen delight.
By the end of this episode, you'll never look at ice cream the same way again. Instead of guilt, you'll savor every scoop with pure joy.
So grab a cone, sit back, and let's dive into the creamy, delicious world of ice cream. Trust me, you won't want to miss this.
And who knows, you might even learn a few excuses to eat ice cream more often. Let's get started.
Taylor, ever wondered who first thought, hey, let's mix snow with honey and call it dessert?
You mean our ancient ancestors had a sweet tooth too? Spill the beans, James. 8-spoked asterisk.
Absolutely. Around 200 BC, historical records suggest that Alexander the Great enjoyed snow and ice flavored with honey and nectar.
So, ice cream's been satisfying cravings since ancient times. Fast forward to the Roman Empire, and we have Emperor Nero sending runners to the mountains for snow, which he'd mix with fruit and honey.
Talk about early sorbet. Meanwhile, in China during the Tang Dynasty, 618 to 907 AD, they were creating a frozen milk delicacy using buffalo or cow milk mixed with flour and camphor, then cooled with ice.
Leave it to the Chinese to innovate dessert. And then there's the legend of Marco Polo bringing back tales of these frozen treats to Italy in the 13th century, inspiring the Italians to craft their own versions. 8-spoked asterisk.
Enter gelato. By the 16th century, Catherine de' Medici is said to have introduced these icy delights to France when she married King Henry II. The French, never to be outdone, embraced and refined the treat.
And let's not forget England. In the 17th century, cream ice became a royal favorite, with King Charles I reportedly so enamored that he paid his chef to keep the recipe a secret.
Secrets out, Charles. Crossing the Atlantic, the first recorded mention of ice cream in America was in a 1744 letter by a guest of Maryland Governor William Bladen.
And by 1777, advertisements for ice cream appeared in the New York Gazette, signaling its availability to the public.
The real game changer? In 1843, Nancy Johnson patented the hand-cranked ice cream freezer, revolutionizing production and making it more accessible.
Hats off to Nancy. By the mid-19th century, ice cream parlors were popping up everywhere, and the dessert was no longer just for the elite.
Today, ice cream is a global phenomenon, with each culture adding its unique twist, from Italian gelato to Japanese mochi ice cream.
It's amazing how a simple combination of ice, milk, and sweeteners has evolved into the diverse array of flavors and styles we enjoy today.
And to think, it all started with snow and honey.
Cheers to that.
All right, Taylor, let's get real. You've just finished a big scoop of your favorite ice cream. Why do we immediately feel that pang of guilt?
I know, right? It's like I'm committing a crime every time I indulge. But I think it's that whole good versus bad food thing we've been taught since forever.
Totally. I mean, society has this weird habit of demonizing certain foods. And ice cream? Oh, it's at the top of the naughty list.
Exactly. It's loaded with sugar and fat, so it's easy to feel like we've just thrown our healthy habits out the window. But here's the kicker. This isn't just about ice cream. It's about all indulgent foods.
Right? We've been conditioned to see food as either healthy or unhealthy. If we eat something deemed unhealthy, we feel like we've failed.
And let's not forget the role of diet culture here. The pressure to maintain a certain body type or size creates this intense fear around eating anything that could be considered a treat.
And there it is, the real villain. The pressure to be perfect. That's why when we grab a bowl of ice cream, it's not just about enjoying the dessert. It's like we've broken a rule.
I know. It's like you've betrayed your fitness routine or your healthy lifestyle, all for a scoop of mint chocolate chip. And that's where the guilt sneaks in.
Exactly. But here's the thing, Taylor. All of this guilt? It's actually psychological. We're letting these external influences dictate how we feel about food.
100%. And what we often overlook is that eating ice cream isn't inherently bad. The guilt is what turns a treat into a problem.
Right? And the more we give in to that guilt, the more we associate food with shame. Suddenly, that small bowl of ice cream becomes a mountain of stress.
It's like we're punishing ourselves for enjoying something that's meant to be fun and pleasurable. We lose sight of the fact that food is meant to fuel our bodies, not create anxiety.
And then, we dive into a vicious cycle. You feel guilty, so you vow to make up for it by eating less or exercising more. But that guilt never fully disappears, right?
Exactly. And the worst part? We don't even allow ourselves to truly enjoy the ice cream because we're too busy feeling guilty about eating it.
What if we just gave ourselves permission to enjoy it? No guilt, no shame, just a delicious treat in the moment?
Well, that sounds like the dream, doesn't it? But the key is breaking free from that food guilt mindset.
Right? Ice cream isn't the enemy. Our relationship with it is what needs to change.
Absolutely. And maybe if we stopped feeling guilty, we'd actually start enjoying it more, guilt-free.
So, let's talk about how we can do that. How do we enjoy ice cream without all the baggage? Stick around, we've got some tips coming up. So, Taylor, let's settle this once and for all. Is ice cream really that bad for you?
James, I've asked myself that question every time I grab a scoop. The media loves to make us think that eating it is a one-way ticket to health disaster.
Right, it's like they're trying to convince us that a bowl of vanilla is as bad as eating a box of pizza every day. But the truth is, it's not all black and white.
Exactly. Ice cream does have sugar, fat, and calories, but that doesn't automatically make it bad. It's about balance, right?
Spot on. Sure, if you're eating ice cream for every meal, yeah, that might not be ideal. But one scoop now and then? Not the end of the world.
Totally. In fact, some studies show that moderate consumption of high-fat dairy can have health benefits, like improving bone health due to calcium and vitamin D. Who knew?
Right, and let's not forget the joy factor. It's good for your mental health to enjoy something you love. A little happiness never hurt anyone.
Absolutely. And when we talk about moderation, we're not saying go overboard. But every now and then, ice cream can fit into a healthy, balanced lifestyle.
And hey, if you're really concerned about sugar or fat, there are options like lower sugar ice creams, or even dairy-free varieties for those with dietary restrictions.
Exactly. The options today are endless. There's something for everyone. So no, ice cream isn't the villain it's made out to be. It's all about knowing when to enjoy it and how much.
Right, and honestly, a little ice cream now and then is probably better for your mental health than stressing over every bite.
Couldn't agree more. So is it bad? Nah, it's all about how we choose to indulge.
Well, that settles that. Let's move on and talk about how to enjoy it guilt-free next. Alright, Taylor, we've discussed the guilt, the sugar, and the fat. But how do we actually enjoy ice cream without feeling like we've committed a crime?
The million-dollar question, James. You've got to stop thinking of ice cream as forbidden fruit, and more as just another food you can enjoy in moderation.
Moderation. The magic word. But let's be real. most of us don't even know what moderation looks like when it comes to ice cream, right?
True. I mean, who can resist going back for that second or third scoop? But here's the thing. Enjoying ice cream without guilt is about being mindful while you eat it.
Mindful eating? Tell me more, Taylor.
It's all about slowing down and actually tasting the ice cream. When you take the time to savor every bite, you'll find that a smaller portion is more satisfying than mindlessly shoveling in scoop after scoop.
Oh, so it's like quality over quantity, huh? That makes sense. The more you focus on the taste, the less you'll feel the urge to overeat.
Exactly. Another trick? Serve it in a smaller bowl or cone. Research shows that when we use smaller portions, we're less likely to overeat, and your brain thinks you're getting more.
Genius. So, you're saying I should get a tiny scoop of gelato and savor it like it's gold?
Exactly. And here's a little secret. When you really enjoy that one small scoop, you won't feel like you need to eat the entire pint. You've already satisfied that craving.
Okay, I'm liking this. Anything else to stop the guilt spiral?
Absolutely. One thing that helps is remembering that ice cream is part of life's simple pleasures. When you stop labeling it as bad, you free yourself from the guilt. It's just dessert.
So, if I stop stressing about every bite, I'll enjoy it more? That sounds almost too easy.
I know, but that's the secret. Treat it like the indulgence it is, not like a sin you have to atone for.
Got it. Don't overthink it. Just enjoy. But what about if you really watching your sugar intake or calories?
Good point. If you worried about calories, there are options. Go for lighter versions or even better, make your own at home with healthier ingredients like frozen fruit, Greek yogurt, or almond milk.
I love a good DIY treat. And there are so many delicious flavors you can create without the guilt. Not to mention, it's fun to get creative.
Exactly. And when you make it yourself, you control what goes into it. So it's a win-win.
Alright, so mindfulness, smaller portions, healthier options, and a little bit of creativity sounds like a plan to me.
You've got it, James. Enjoying ice cream guilt-free isn't about depriving yourself. It's about savoring the experience and keeping balance in your life.
Well, I'm definitely feeling better about my next scoop. Let's talk about some alternatives now. Can we still enjoy a frozen treat without the classic ice cream?
Oh, absolutely. Let's dive into that.
Alright, Taylor, we've talked about enjoying ice cream guilt-free, but what if someone's looking for an alternative to the classic? What are the options?
Oh, the options are endless. First up, let's talk about frozen yogurt. It's lighter, with less fat than regular ice cream, and you can find tons of flavors that will still hit that sweet spot.
Frozen yogurt? Classic choice. But how about something even lighter? You could go for sorbet, which is dairy-free and packed with fruity goodness.
Ooh, sorbet is a win. It's refreshing, and you get all those vibrant flavors. Plus, it's naturally lower in calories and fat, so you don't have to feel guilty.
I'm also a fan of coconut milk ice cream. It's creamy, dairy-free, and totally rich in flavor, with a ton of different flavors to choose from.
Nice. And for the health-conscious crowd, how about nice cream? That's made from frozen bananas, and it's just as creamy as the real thing. You can add whatever toppings you want.
Bananas, huh? Sounds like a perfect base. You could blend it with peanut butter, cocoa powder, or even some dark chocolate chips for a decadent treat.
Exactly. And for those who love a DIY project, making your own popsicles is a great alternative. You can mix fruit, yogurt, and a little honey, then freeze them in molds for a refreshing treat.
I'm sold. Frozen banana pops, homemade sorbet, and coconut milk ice cream? There's no shortage of options.
Right? These alternatives are fun, healthy, and totally satisfying. You won't miss the regular ice cream at all.
Well, I've learned a lot today. Now, let's dive into some fun facts about ice cream. Alright, Taylor, we've talked alternatives, guilt-free enjoyment, and a bit about the history. Now let's dive into some fun facts about ice cream. Hit me with the weirdest one you've got.
Oh, I've got a good one. Did you know that the world's most expensive ice cream costs a whopping $6,000 per scoop?
Wait, $6,000 for one scoop? What's in it? Gold flakes, diamond dust, and unicorn tears.
Pretty much. It's called the Burger 5000, And it's made with rare ingredients like 23-karat edible gold and truffles. Oh, and it's served with a side of champagne. Talk about luxury.
I can't even wrap my head around spending $6,000 on ice cream. But hey, it's cool to know that there's an ice cream out there for the truly extra people.
Right? Now here's something even cooler. Ice cream is said to be one of the most ancient desserts in history. It dates back to around 200 BC when the Chinese made a frozen dessert from milk and rice.
Wait, ancient ice cream? I thought ice cream was just a modern invention. But it makes sense. There's something timeless about frozen treats.
Exactly. And speaking of old school, did you know that the first ice cream cone was invented at the 1904 World's Fair in St. Louis?
No way. So, the cone wasn't even a thing before that? I can't imagine having ice cream without one.
I know, right? Before the cone, they just served it in bowls, but the cone was a game changer. People went wild over it. And get this, ice cream cones are actually still called cornet in some parts of the world.
Cornets? That's fancy. But here's a fun fact. Did you know the most popular flavor of ice cream in the U.S. is vanilla?
Vanilla, really? I always thought it was chocolate, but I guess vanilla is a classic for a reason.
It is. Vanilla's subtle sweetness goes well with pretty much anything, plus it's used in a ton of other desserts. It's versatile.
Definitely. And speaking of popularity, the U.S. consumes over 1.5 billion gallons of ice cream every year.
That's a lot of ice cream. If you break it down, that's like, what? A pint per person every week? I'm here for it.
Well, not everyone's eating that much, but it's still mind-blowing. And get this, ice cream has its own holiday.
A holiday? Seriously?
Yep. National Ice Cream Day falls on the third Sunday of July every year. It's a whole day dedicated to celebrating ice cream.
I need to mark that on my calendar. It's like a free pass to indulge all day. And hey, who doesn't want to celebrate ice cream?
Exactly. It's the one day of the year where you can eat as much ice cream as you want and feel like you recontributing to society.
Alright, I think we've learned enough about ice cream to write a book at this point. Let's now talk about ice cream around the world. Alright, Taylor, we've covered the fun facts. But what about ice cream around the world? Does the whole planet share our love for this sweet treat?
Oh, you bet they do. Ice cream is a global phenomenon, but each culture has its own spin on it. Let's start with Italy. I mean, who can resist authentic gelato?
Gelato. Now we're talking. It's like ice cream's smoother, richer cousin, right?
Exactly. Gelato has less air whipped into it, so it's denser and more flavorful. Plus, they're famous for their endless flavor combinations. You can find gelato shops on nearly every corner in Italy.
Sounds like paradise. But what about Asia? I've heard they do some pretty wild things with ice cream there.
Oh, for sure. In Japan, they have mochi ice cream, which is a chewy, sweet rice dough filled with creamy ice cream. It's like a little bite-sized surprise.
I've had mochi before, and adding ice cream to it sounds like a game changer. What other flavors do they have?
Japan is all about unique flavors. Ever heard of wasabi ice cream? It's spicy and sweet. Definitely not your typical dessert, but surprisingly tasty.
Wasabi ice cream? That's intense. I've also seen something called bubble tea ice creams around lately. Is that a thing?
Absolutely. In places like Taiwan, they mix the chewy tapioca pearls from bubble tea with creamy ice cream. It's a fusion dessert that blends textures and flavors in the best way possible.
That sounds crazy good. What about India? I've heard they've got something unique called kulfi.
Yes, kulfi is a frozen dessert made from sweetened condensed milk, and it's often flavored with pistachio, mango, or cardamom. It's denser than ice cream and served on a stick, making it a perfect street food treat.
So it's like a creamier popsicle with all those aromatic spices? I'm sold. How about the Middle East?
The Middle East is all about bastani, an Iranian ice cream that's infused with saffron, rosewater, and sometimes even pieces of crunchy pistachio. It's fragrant and decadent.
Saffron ice cream? Now that's something I need to try. It's amazing how every region gives ice cream its own cultural twist.
Exactly. From Thailand's coconut ice cream served in a coconut shell to Argentina's dulce de leche ice cream, The variations are endless.
Ice cream really has become a global language, huh?
It really has. No matter where you go, there's always a frozen treat to cool you down and bring a smile to your face.
Well, I think it's safe to say ice cream unites us all, no matter where we are.
Totally. Now let's talk about where ice cream might be headed in the future.
All right, Taylor, we've covered everything from history to global ice cream delights. But what about the future? What's next for our favorite frozen treat?
Well, if trends are any indication, the future of ice cream is seriously exciting. For starters, we're seeing a big shift toward healthier options, like plant-based ice creams.
Plant-based, huh? So, no dairy, just coconut, almond, or oat milk. I've seen a lot more of those options popping up in stores.
Exactly. Brands are getting super creative with dairy-free ingredients, so it's not just about the health benefits. You get rich, creamy flavors like chocolate coconut and vanilla almond, without the lactose.
That's pretty cool. But what about the tech side? I've heard some crazy things about ice cream and technology.
Oh, it's wild. Have you heard of 3D printed ice cream? It's a thing. They can print intricate designs, or even customize the texture and taste, all in real time.
3D printed ice cream? That's next level stuff. Can you imagine a world where you walk into a store and a machine prints out your ice cream with exactly the flavor and shape you want?
That's the future, my friend. And let's not forget about sustainability. As we see more people becoming eco-conscious, ice cream makers are finding ways to reduce waste, like using biodegradable cones or sourcing ingredients locally.
Sustainable, custom-made, plant-based ice cream. It's like the ultimate combination of science and social responsibility.
Exactly. Ice cream's future is all about innovation, flavor variety, and making sure it's as good for the planet as it is for our taste buds.
Well, I'm excited. The future of ice cream is looking sweeter than ever. Well, Taylor, I think we've just covered the ultimate guide to ice cream, from its sweet history to its delicious future.
Absolutely. Whether it's a luxurious scoop of gelato in Italy, a refreshing mochi ice cream in Japan, or an innovative 3D printed treat in the future, ice cream is clearly here to stay.
And the best part? We can enjoy it guilt-free by making smart choices, like exploring plant-based options or finding balance with our indulgence.
Right? So next time you grab that scoop of your favorite flavor, don't stress. Whether you re-enjoying a classic cone or trying something new, ice cream is all about joy and bringing people together.
So, here's to many more scoops ahead, guilt-free and full of fun. Thanks for joining us, and remember, no matter where you are in the world, ice cream is always a reason to smile.
Absolutely. Stay sweet, folks.
Thank you for watching. Your journey to better English and unstoppable confidence starts here. Like, share, and subscribe. Let's keep growing together. See you in the next video, champion.